Hi.
Hi, good afternoon, Lisa. I am so grateful that you agreed to share your information on how you were so successful at being able to run a virtual Triumph Over Trauma group. It was a privilege for me to get invited by you, and it was an eye-opening experience for me. I'm so excited about everything that you were able to do, and that's why I asked, if we could get your insights on how you did it so that we can help other people. I saw how much the parents benefited from participating. And
Mhm.
so was excited with the opportunity for you to share with us how you did it. So thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you
So
so
can
much
you,
for inviting me. I wish I could be there in person. But I'm also, like I mentioned before, I'm also a doctoral student at the University of Kansas. So saludos desde Kansas. But I'm super excited to be able to have this conversation with you today. This is our second cohort, the summer cohort, which is the cohort that you were able to participate with us. We did start this in the spring. We had 25 parents register. Our sessions pretty much fluctuated with attendance, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And then we our focus was autism parents. So we kind of merged. We have a program called Be Kind to Your Mind, and under that umbrella, we do a lot of mental wellness and mental health events. So we started with Triumph Over Trauma, with a special emphasis on an autistic focus, kind of. We were able to support parents. I briefly mentioned that research shows that 50% of mothers that have children who are autistic have elevated levels of depressive symptoms. So that's something that we really wanted to help. And then in the summer, you were able to join us. We had even more parents registered when we did it in Spanish, which was really exciting and also hard for me. I really wanted to do a good job. Yeah, so it was called Cuidando a quien cuida. And with this one, our sessions were remote again, but also hybrid options that we had at the Westlaco Library. And you were able to join us, and we appreciated every single day that you joined us and just gave us that ability to connect with our parents.
yes, it was my pleasure. Like I said, I gained so much from it, and I'm so glad that you thought about contacting me to help
Thank
you out
you.
with that. All
So, in a
right. So
nutshell, that's pretty much
yeah,
just a little
well,
overview.
that's a very good information. So I have a few questions that I think will help other people maybe think about how they can help the communities that they serve. So one of the things that I'm really curious about is like, how did you come up with the idea of doing a virtual group? Like what made you think that a virtual group would be successful? Because it really was very successful. I mean, to
Thank
have
you.
had an attendance of up to 16 people sometimes. I thought that was great.
Thanks. So whenever we open registration, we place in the registration. Do you prefer a remote option via Zoom or an in-person option, or it doesn't matter? So that's something that we did give parents the option of choosing. We did have an overwhelming response that requested a remote option. So they wanted a Zoom option, but at the same time, some of them were like, maybe in person sometimes. So which is why this summer we tried to do the hybrid version of it. But there was a lot more success with the remote version of this particular program. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that parents, when you do offer a service in person, parents often have to look for childcare, and they might, have to travel longer distances to get to the location. So with this particular program, it just offered more flexibility. We also saw in our conversations with parents in the summer that just the political scene sometimes is a little scary for them as well when it comes to, feeling safe. And we really wanted to promote that safety, that this is a safe environment. You're welcome to come however you want to come. You are accepted, you are seen, you are heard, you're valued. And we just wanted to provide those opportunities.
Well, those are really excellent points. Everybody wants to be seen and heard and valued, and I think that you did a wonderful job at doing that. And I think that that was the reason why you were so successful. So that's good to hear. So we have to keep all those things in mind, giving them options, feeling them like they have a voice. I thought
Absolutely.
that was really good. So thank you for sharing that. So, so I already asked you about the population that you targeted. In your case, you're working with the parents of autistic children. So that
Hmm.
is the population that you targeted, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then tell me how you did your outreach. How did people know that you were offering this program? What did you say to them? How did you do it?
So we did our outreach mainly through social media. You'll see that our flyer kind of had an explanation of what the program was. It also had the commitment of this the we did it Mondays at 12 or 1, depending on which like our first cohort was at 12, but this cohort I believe was at 1. Um, but it did have everything that you would need to kind of understand what is this program. So we did talk about how this was a parent program. It does focus on Triumph Over Trauma, which is the curriculum that we're using. And then
Mhm.
we did just very briefly, it's 7 weeks. You're going to find tools to build your resilience, emotional wellness, and that's something that. So this is the flyer that we did provide for parents. During the first cohort, I did have an information meeting that I did first, and then I wanted to explain the program. And what happened was that a lot of people went to that first information meeting, but it was a little confusing. So then I don't know if they, thought that maybe the program wasn't for them. So then when the program started, it kind of like the attendance fluctuated between like 7 to maybe 10 individuals. The summer we had a lot more response, like you mentioned, where one time we had like 16 people there, which was great
Yeah.
for us. But that was something that I did different this in the summer. I thought, you know what? I don't need the information session. When they come, I'll just start explaining and we can just get started. And it worked. So,
Yeah, that is just fantastic. And I'm looking at your flyer, and one of the things that I learned recently in doing outreach is that your flyer should contain like the most information that you can possibly provide, and so yours does.
thank
So
you.
I think that that may have been a reason why that was successful. And the other thing that I noticed is I loved the name that you picked, be kind
Oh,
to your
thank you.
mind. Sometimes people get scared off if you say, triumph over trauma. It's like, oh no, I don't want to talk about, my
Mhm.
traumatic experiences. And so I think, again, in that case, you did a wonderful job at selecting the name of a group, the name for the group, that wasn't scary and frightening. And actually,
Mhm.
the material that we offer is not frightening. It's psychosocial skills, and so I think that approach was also really helpful. So I wanted to let you know that I had noticed that I think
Thank
that
you.
having a name that doesn't sound so drastic, might be a little more comfortable for people. And so, okay, so we're gonna do, we're doing just this very brief short interview. And I wanted to, point out that the result of it was that you had a bunch of participants, that we had up to 16 participants. And I just want to let those people that are listening to this presentation know that even though it was a virtual experience, they were very engaged. They were very engaged. I think the way that this program works, because you have questions where they check in when we first
Oh,
start, and
yes.
check and the checkout at the end, the people tend to be engaged. And then the other thing that you did that I thought worked really well was that you had incentives, and
Yes.
you had like a raffle where people were getting gift cards, and there's like a little gadget that you
Yes. We had a wheel
put
of
their
names.
names, a wheel, what is it?
Wheel of names.
Okay, a wheel of
Uh,
names, and in that wheel of names, the winner gets selected, And they seemed
Mhm.
excited about that too. So just,
Yes.
sharing that enthusiasm for people who may be thinking about doing this virtually as well, and
Uh-huh.
just to let everybody know that I feel like that also made it very effective.
Thank
So,
you. Yes, that is something
yes.
that we try to. I was mentioning before during our conversation that just us as an org, we're very big on raffles, just in general. um, so that's something that we kind of bring into like the remote virtual setting. And then since the pandemic, this particular program, the Be Kind to Your Mind program, it's always been kind of a virtual slash in-person program just because it grew out of that moment, right, in our community where there was just so much anxiety and just mental. We just wanted to provide a mental wellness initiative on behalf of our organization. So when we started Care for the Caregiver with the specific parents in mind, I think
Mhm.
that a lot of our activities, were also very interactive, where they had to make their little trauma trigger cards and everybody had to share, if they wanted to, if they felt comfortable sharing. So I think that
Right.
that's also something that we've been able to incorporate. The technology side of things can be daunting sometimes. Technology doesn't always work the way we want it to work either. So it did take a lot of practice. Anytime that I would make a Canva link, I would also make sure that it would work on my side because uh, during the first cohort, sometimes it would be hard to to ensure that it was working all the time. But we just try to have those incentives, have those activities where if a parent doesn't feel like they can speak, share their story, they can share it in other ways through the message box, through the Canva card with pictures. So we're just trying to provide different ways for them to get those skills and also to share their story.
Yeah. Well, again, you did an excellent job, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to hear from you, so that we hopefully can encourage others to know that it is possible, that it does work,
Absolutely.
and that there's support. You were able to call me, and we were able to get
Yeah.
through this together.
Uh-huh.
And so I live here in the Valley, and I work for Methodist Healthcare Ministries, and anybody who is in need of support on how to get a group going, questions that they might have, I am always just a phone call away. People can always reach out to me. So thank you so
And
much for
we're
your
so
time.
thankful for you and Methodist Healthcare Ministries. Just we were also able to share with all of the moms that came just your services also, which I think is huge because
Yes,
oftentimes they don't know that these services are available.
right. Yes. Again, thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for
We'll
empowering
continue
us to make a
working
difference.
together.
Yes.
Bye
I
bye.
hope we continue. Thank you. Have a
Yes.
good one.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thanks.